G'day everyone, I'm Aza Whitnall and this is Aza World Sport, where each week I talk about various different news, stories and topics from within the world of sport, but predominantly football. And this week there is only one major event to talk about in terms of domestic football and club football around the world, and that is that Real Madrid have been dubbed the Champions League winners for 2015-2016. And in doing so, become the first ever team to win undecima, as they're dubbing it, which means they've won it for 11 times, which is 4 times better, or 4 times more, than any other team in Europe. So, again, reinforcing why they are one of the top 5 super clubs in world football at the moment. Now, in terms of the final itself, they beat Atletico Madrid on penalties 5-4. The score was 1-1 after 90 minutes and after extra time. But it wasn't necessarily a final to remember. The game, I felt, was a little bit scrappy. No team really had any outstanding chances at any particular time. Yes, obviously there were goals. But again, the goals weren't absolutely spectacular. Real Madrid's came in the 15th minute. Toni Kroos's free kick was flicked on by Gareth Bale. And even though there was a slight hint of offside, Sergio Ramos did manage to get just the tiniest touch on the ball that actually took it underneath the Atletico Madrid goalkeeper, Oblak, to give Madrid the lead. And for the remainder of the first half, I generally thought Atletico Madrid were there for the taking. But Real couldn't capitalise on the lead that they gained, and Atletico made it in at half-time with only being a goal down. And in the second half, they made a fantastic change. They brought on Yannick Carrasco, and straight away, Atletico, you could see they were a different team in the second half. Winning a penalty earlier on because Pepe very stupidly brought down Torres. Bit of a needless foul, really. He wasn't going to get to the ball first. Torres had got his body in the perfect position to turn him. So it was down to Griezmann to bring them level. And, all right, we've seen Leicester pull off kind of the miracle of the season in terms of what they've done in the Premier League. But what Atletico Madrid are doing in Spain in terms of competing with Real Madrid and Barcelona has been nothing short of impressive in itself. So, in a way, if Atletico had have been able to win it, you could arguably dub it the season of miracles between both of these leagues in a way. Obviously, Atletico doing it a couple of years ago, but to be crowned the champions of Europe when you look at, first of all, the budget they have and also the players that they do lose to other teams around Europe. Just look at their striking collection alone over the years. And the way that Simeone has really brought this team together, there are almost elements of that Atletico Madrid team that you can compare with how Leicester have won the Premier League in that sense. So, yeah, Griezmann, who's been their star player this season, stepped up and everyone thought he was going to put it away. He went for power and height, and unfortunately it didn't pay off for him. It rattled against the bar, came back out. But Atletico weren't too deterred by that. They carried on. And with 12 minutes to go, Carrasco, the substitute, turned in a one-thrown cross at the back post and certainly celebrated in style, finding his girlfriend in the crowd and giving her a very passionate kiss. You know, what a way to celebrate, especially obviously all the lads thinking, well played, son, well played. The game was even, and I honestly thought, because of the momentum that Atletico Madrid had moving forward, particularly towards the end of that second half and after equalising, that they were going to pull it off, but they just couldn't quite find a breakthrough. Extra time, I wouldn't really say too much in particular happened. It went to penalties, and I've got to say, it was a pretty good penalty shootout. The penalties that we're taking, if you ever want to have a look at how you should take a penalty properly, this is a good one to look at. All of them were tucked away fantastically, but very sadly, for Juan Fran, he stepped up and, again, even though he missed, hit the post. So again, it wasn't that bad a penalty. He was the only one that managed to miss out of all of the penalty takers. And of course, that meant that there was only one player left to step up for Real Madrid. And if he scored, then they would be the 11-time champions of Europe, which meant that obviously they would have 4 more trophies or European trophies than any other team in Europe as well. And there was only ever going to be one man to step up and take that penalty. And that, of course, was CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. And under pressure, as Ronaldo always seems to do, tucked it away beautifully. And again, kind of cemented his place in history not just of Real Madrid, not just of the Champions League, but in football as a whole. I think it's safe to say, without a doubt, out of the last in all the time that I've been alive, the past 24, coming up 25 years, cracky, that's scary. Whew. Him and Messi have been far and above anyone else, in my opinion. And for me, he and Messi will be regarded as one of the best, or two of the best players, in the history of the game. And he really cemented that by putting that penalty away, which meant that he actually ended this season as the top goal scorer in the Champions League, which he's now done on 5 occasions, which again just shows you how fantastic an athlete he is, but also how fantastic a footballer he is. And in the last 4 seasons, he's actually scored 55 goals in the Champions League, which is just ridiculous. So, Real Madrid won it. As heartbreaking as it was for Atletico, you got to say the celebrations were something pretty special. I mean, you can see by the pictures that I've been putting up here, and also from the backdrop, the Bernabeu celebrating that undecima win. And I think it's going to be a really exciting time for Real Madrid if they give Zidane what he wants, if they let him create the squad that he wants. You got to remember, he only took over halfway through the season, so it does make you wonder where they would have finished if he had been there the entire time. But he's a big personality, and I think that's what Real Madrid, a club like them, need. And it's certainly going to be interesting. So what I want to know from you guys, do you feel that this is the start of an exciting new era for Real Madrid with Zinedine Zidane at the helm? And what do you think this means for La Liga, their rivalry with Barcelona? And also, what do you think this means for Atletico Madrid moving forward? Do you see them challenging again next season? Can you see them, under Simeone, reaching the Champions League final again? And who knows, under Simeone, third time the charm, winning the Champions League in their third final with Simeone, if they manage to get there. So please let me know in your comments below. Also, please let me know if there is anything you feel that I have missed in this video. If you want to keep up to date with all things wildlife, adventure and sport, then of course Aza World is your place for that. You can also check me out on all other social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Those links are in the bio below, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.